I'm here with Nick Polsinelli, Director of Sales and Channel for Informational Data Technologies. When I see what you're doing at IDT and having witnessed and spent some time with you at the Water Towers Demo Day, I'm very excited to be able to spend this time with you today, Nick.
Likewise, the pleasure is really all mine. It was great to see you guys at the Demo Day and to spend time with you and Mary. It was excellent.
Good. So with that, why don't you give me a little background on yourself and then a little bit of background on IDT.
Sure. I was born at a very young age. I just these are the bad jokes. That's just how I roll.
Yeah, that's good.
But no, I'm born and raised from Minnesota. I grew up in the Twin Cities, and if you're from the state, the keywords. Went to school in Dallas, Texas. Graduated there with a business degree. And it was actually my father that really introduced me and brought me into the water industry. He had a background working in control panels and as was a manufacturer's rep. And he's the one that said, hey, there's some wonderful people here, a great opportunity to serve people and have that heart. So that's what brought me in. I started off as a pump and control panel salesman in Minnesota and Wisconsin. And then took a small break for several months, but then came back with IDT, which again is my father was one of the two founders of the business, him and his business partner, and now it is fully a family-owned business. So that's my long story made short as far as that goes.
So a little bit about IDT and what your direction is and what the company really is focused on.
We were born out of the focus of solving people's problems. I mean, that's really where we came out of. My father and his business partner had a manager saying, I need help collecting data on my meters because 1,000 miles of pipeline, widespread. I can't get this information to know what's going on in my system. So we were born out of solving people's problems, and everything we've created and we continue to develop is to address concerns and challenges that people have brought out to us, not just in the meter reading side, but whether that be tank level or remote shutoff. We've worked with both government agencies, agricultural universities, and nonprofits, and we continue to expand who we can serve and continue to expand the various ways in using the different technologies like Internet of Things, IoT, to be able to help bring that data in and actually have it delivered so you can see what's going on and then be able to make decisions. Our tagline is data delivered, and that's our focus, is getting you that data so you can get that information to make executive decisions to serve the people, serving the servants, I guess.
Good. So give us an example of the impact that you had with a customer.
Ooh, we could talk for an hour on those. I think one of my favorites is we had one of our very first systems that we ever worked with was in South Dakota. And while we were presenting the solution, everything else, there was a board member that went from South Dakota and went down to Arizona for the winter. Again, the snowbirds, it gets really cold up there. Yep. And they had one of our solutions, one of our units at not only at the house, but also on some tanks as a rancher, because in the South Dakota, or at least in this area, the water isn't clean enough just to pipe. You have to actually have it cleaned and then piped all the way the hundreds, thousands of miles to get that water delivered all the way up into some of the troughs where the herd drinks. Well, they were looking at the data that came in and noticed that there was a large alarm spike, a usage spike at one of these locations for this board member. So they called the board member and said, hey, we see a high usage in one of your tanks. You might want to send somebody else to go and take a look. Well, he says, well, that's weird. I'll call one of my field guys. Called the field guy. The guy said, boss, I was just there like a day or two ago. There's no way we're having issues there. He goes, well, it's saying that there's an issue. Go out there. Well, the guy drove out the distance, at least an hour drive to get to that tank. And lo and behold, the float got stuck and was pouring water over the top of that. So they were able to fix the flow, stop the water flowing, save the board member / customer money, and they didn't have to drive out the hour or two drive from their office to go and look at the meter to see what was going on. So they had that trifecta or the quadfecta of saving money, affecting the bottom line. They're serving people, and they're being conservative on their both water usage and CO2. So it's a lot of different things that you can do just by having that information.
So it's in that case, a huge cost and resource savings.
Oh my gosh, this same system in the first 60 days of using our platform found 30 leaks in 60 days,
Wow.
ranging from 4,000 gallons per day to 49,000 gallons per day. So if you took the lowest number of 4,000 and multiplied that out, that's about 5.5 Olympic-sized swimming pools worth of water produced going into the ground daily.
Hmm. Very well done. So give us, as you're, in your position, Director of Sales and Channel, give us maybe a pleasant surprise or two that you've had in this role.
Ooh, I think the first part would be the people. I've had the opportunity to travel the United States, to both driving down the corridor, West Coast, East Coast, and I've had the chance to meet CEOs and presidents of businesses to guys who run operations of 16 connections. I've got to meet a lot of wonderful people that have different varying experiences, that have different knowledges about the industry, and all that to bring back and figuring out how can I connect people, and how can I take this information I'm learning to solve someone else's challenge. I never realized the effect that data would really have on these systems, and how there is such a gap with what's currently coming out in the marketplace. And I know a lot of the major metropolitan cities are getting access to this more quickly than the smaller cities, which is why it's so important that we're helping everybody get caught up into this. So the data gap has been big, but then also to really see how that data can affect the environment and helping with the sustainability long term. As we're looking to, if we're looking at One Water and to address some of these global challenges, we got to start taking care of some of that stuff first at home. So those are a couple of things from my role that I've gotten to really enjoy, is seeing those different pieces play out.
That's great. So you're establishing a relationship with Global Waterworks, and there's many organizations within water. So what do you see from your perspective as the value that Global Waterworks brings?
Just like I was explaining, I've had a chance to meet a lot of different people. And there's a lot of different folks that have passion for water, but you don't find them everywhere. There's varying degrees, but you usually find that 5% that actually are really passionate about what they do and how they want to make an impact. Well, what I've come to learn and see is from the Global Waterworks community is that 5% is all being brought together on one spot. So you have all these people converging together to address these concerns and saying, hey, this is what I know. What can I share with you to make an impact? Or, hey, you have this solution. I have somebody here that's running into this problem. How can we bring this over there? Or, hey, how can we take these different solutions and concepts? Or, oh, I didn't even think about this as a challenge. If I'm going to bring this into the marketplace to solve problems. So there's all this different information and connections, government, vendor, engineering, user, other activists. There's just so many people are coming to one spot. And that's been the most amazing thing with the Global Waterworks, is I've met so many wonderful people, passionate people globally, that have such a heart for serving people and to protecting what resources they've been given by leading through their example. It only takes that 5% to make a difference. And that 5% are generally the dreamers and the world changers. So it's great to see all that coming onto one platform.
I echo what you are saying. It's really something, as I've been in water for only about 3.5 years, is how willing everybody is to share their knowledge, their experience, their help, to connect. And of course, that's what Global Waterworks does, is connect people, process, and technology to solve the global water crisis and generation. So back to you and IDT. What do you see for IDT going forward, 12, 18, 36 months? What does it look like to you?
We are excited about the future and what's coming. Our primary focus has been with the rural water systems in small towns. And don't quote me on this. I know the numbers do change, but when I last looked at the public water systems, the small size systems were about 18,000 in the United States. That's a lot of small systems. That's a lot of operations of people with varying degrees of access to funding or cash flow, or even of quality operators and staff, and understanding board members and towns. There's a lot of territory cover of people that I think are being underserved. So we're excited to be bringing those Internet of Things solutions, and how can we make that and help bridge that gap for the small communities and systems locally first. So that way we can help them get that data, because we understand the impact that information has when you're doing your day-to-day operations and what the weight is off of just wondering. So we want to bring that IoT from basically what we've seen from the larger cities and municipalities and bring that to the small towns and bring that to the rural spots. And to be able then to also bring that worldwide, because there's a lot of spots that just don't get the data. And there's a lot of spots that are just not collecting it. So there's a lot of missed opportunities from that. So we're excited to be moving towards that. But then we're also really excited to be helping take this data and being able to pipeline it, whether it be into our platform or to other platforms. So that information could be put towards algorithms, machine learning, digital twins. So that way, you actually are able to see all these different parts converge and seeing the full body of what's going on in a system. You know, whether you use the example of your heart pumping throughout the body or use the brain for the neural system, it's still important to know what's going on from head to toe, inside and out. And the more clarity you have on that, the better you understand how you operate, what affects you, and how you need to manage yourself throughout the day-to-day. I know for myself, there are some foods I can't eat anymore because of how it affects my body. There's some things that affect the water too, and that affect the whole system. So the more data points we have, the different solutions we're able to connect and converge, we're excited to really be bringing this all together and being a converging point. Converging apparently is my favorite word today. Converging point on all of this.
Nick, that's great, a great vision. And you know, at Global Waterworks, we really look forward to working with you at IDT to have your vision come to fruition. Nick, thank you so much for spending this time with me this afternoon. I look forward to many more conversations in the future.
Likewise, the pleasure is all mine, and thank you again for the opportunity.
Thanks, Nick.